My entire world collapsed around me at the age of 14 when my father died in a car wreck. He left my mother with myself and my two little brothers to raise on her own. My mother tried really hard to keep the family afloat, although we always just seemed to be barely scraping by. At that time, I was the typical teenager. I gave her grief at every turn, and for that I will always be sorry. Here she was working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on, a roof over our heads and food on the table, and I was a punk kid acting like she wasn't trying hard enough. I guess I was jealous of my friends at school who had 2 parents and could afford the newest shoes and every field trip that the school came up with. If I'm being honest, I was just as angry at my father for leaving us as if he had a choice. As time went on, my anger grew like a wildfire. I was even angry at God for taking my father from us. What kind of all-loving deity would do such a thing? Didn't he know we needed a father? When I was 16, things had gotten so bad between my mother and I that in a fit of rage during an argument, I screamed out, "I hate you," at her. The next day, she packed up my belongings and sent me to stay with my Aunt Cindy. Aunt Cindy was married to a lawyer, and they lived in a large home with all the perks that came with having money. This was definitely more my style, I thought. Like I said, I was a punk kid still. I had been living with Aunt Cindy for about a month when she told me her, my uncle, their son, and myself were going away to the beach for a week. I had never been to the beach before, so I was excited as could be, especially being at that age when boys were really noticing girls. If my mother had meant this to be a punishment for me, it was backfiring fast. Once we settled into the hotel, we all went down to the beach where my aunt tried to get a tan, and my cousin and myself decided to go into the ocean. While I had been swimming in pools before, I had never experienced the tides of the ocean, and especially not a riptide. One second I was swimming and having the time of my young life, and the next I felt like I was in a washing machine being pulled and dragged under the water. I could actually see the sunlight above me several times during this, but try as I might, I could not fight the tide. I now know I should have been swimming parallel to the shore until I could get free. Things began to go black and a peacefulness washed over me. I knew I was going to die, and I could not stop it. The next thing I remember is standing in front of an angel. The angel was very tall and male in appearance with the softest, kindest eyes. He spoke to me through telepathy as I never saw his mouth move. "Dwayne, I am here to lead you through a review of your life." I did not know how to respond or even if a response was necessary, so I just stood there until the angel waved a hand and a screen appeared. My entire life up to this point played on this screen at a rapid pace, yet somehow I was able to take it all in. At various places in my life, the screen would stop, and I could examine what was happening in greater detail. I could feel the thoughts and feelings of every individual interacting with me at that moment. When it stopped on the scenes of myself and my mother arguing, which happened more than once, I began to feel great shame for the way I had treated her. I could feel how my words and actions hurt her, yet I could also feel how much she truly loved me deep inside. When I thought it was over, the angel said to me, again without speaking, that he wanted to show me something else. Next, I saw a scene where my mother was kneeling next to her bed in prayer, and I could hear her praying for God to watch over me while I was away at my aunt's house. After all I had put her through, she still prayed for me. I was crying now. I was dead, and I never got to tell my mother I was sorry for the last words I had said to her. I never got to tell her I loved her. I suddenly found a man wiping my tears away, and as my eyes cleared, I was looking at my father. He told me how much he had missed me, and I told him, "I'm here now," while thinking at least I got my father back from all this. Just then, he told me, "You have to go back." "Why?" I asked. "You have more to do in your life, and right now your mother needs you with her more than you need to be here," he replied. "Will I see you again?" I asked. "When it's your time, I will come for you and guide you home," he promised. Before I could tell him I loved him, I felt myself being pulled quickly, and then I started coughing up vast amounts of water. I was now ashore with a lifeguard telling me, "That's it, son. cough it all up and breathe. Witnesses said the lifeguard got me out and began CPR pretty fast, and I had only been unconscious for less than a few minutes, but I swear it felt like a few hours at least. After we returned from the beach, I thanked my aunt and uncle, but told them I needed to go home. I got a part-time job after school and began helping my mother whenever I could, whether it was taking care of my brothers or even paying a bill. I am sure there are times I still got on her nerves, but our relationship was much better than before. On the night I graduated high school, I took my mother to dinner and finally told her about my near-death experience, and amazingly, she did not think I was crazy.